And I can't thank them enough from, this time we got here, from the Spirit Walk all the way in. Really special night, and our crowd was all the difference in the world. Really special crowd in Ames, Iowa. Great to have them. I know I said this today, I got the job, that sooner or later they'll be playing important games in Ames, Iowa. And, this crowd, this fan base is the difference, and they certainly were tonight for us. So beyond grateful for them. West Virginia's got a really good football team. I got a lot of respect for their program and really proud of our kids. I thought, at times we played a lot of complete football. And as you can tell, we're not a finished product. We still got a lot of work to do, but we continue to grow, and I think you saw that tonight. So with that, I just think the multiplicity, and again, I think it's, the ability to be multiple throughout the football game, and I think you had to be. And I think our defensive staff did a great job of kind of having a plan to constantly switch up the looks and be as multiple as we could. And I think that's probably the most multiple maybe we've been. Greer's one of those quarterbacks that if you're in one thing too long, he's good enough that he knows the offense and he's going to make great adjustments. So certainly credit our defense, did a great job all night. I think our number one, I think we put ourselves in a lot of good third down situations. I thought that was really big for our football team, and I thought as we've continued to go down this journey a little bit as a football program, I think one thing we've put an emphasis on both sides is third and fourth down situational football. How can we continue to grow and evolve? And I think the biggest thing I would tell you was I think we put ourselves in a lot of really positive third down situations to get off the field. I think Heath had to fight through a little adversity tonight, and it was really great to watch that happen. I think especially at that position, it's never always going to be perfect, and it certainly wasn't at times early in the game. And then, boy, some of the plays he made, his ability to escape pressure, obviously that last touchdown throw to DeShante, really impressive. So, he's got a lot of confidence in his receivers. He spreads the football around, and I think you just see him getting confident as the weeks go for us, and that's exciting to see. A 1-3 probably kills most teams too, and so I think the reality from my end is this is what's made this team really special, and I really think it started last year with that senior class, and adversity is going to happen. Things aren't perfect in a game, and that's unfortunate that it was a situation. I don't think it was anybody's per se fault. We're trying to do it, but it happened, and our ability to respond to it I thought was really powerful in the game. But I do think, Tommy, from our end, I think that's kind of been our niche a little bit, is having great resolve here over the last year and a half. And we're really fortunate to have some great leadership in our locker room. That's not coach driven, that's player driven. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that other than I think you want to continue to get better week in and week out, and especially I think we're still a really young team in a lot of ways, and I think when you have youth and you continue to grow and build a program, I think you hope that the trajectory is going forward rather than backwards or plateauing. And this group uniquely has really gotten better every week, and I think that's why I've been really confident in what this group's been about. And last year we did that, but I felt like we plateaued at some point. And not because of effort, just because of bodies and capable bodies. But it'd be really interesting to see this group's choice. They've got a big decision to make now. You're at the midway point of the season. Where do we go from here? What's our story? And we'll see. But we've got some really good leadership, and I really feel like these guys want to continue to get better week in and week out. I think that's probably a little bit tonight, again, where mixing and matching some coverage with how we were doing things and disguising things were really imperative to our success. We knew that if we just showed the same thing coverage-wise, he's so good and talented that he's got the ability to spread the football around. But I thought, again, great game plan from that end of it, allowed some of those pass rushers to get pressure, and then give those guys credit too. Those guys did a great job getting to the football when they needed to, so that was big for us. Really powerful to me, and I don't know if you ever envisioned what it could be, but you feel what it could be, especially when we came here with that Toledo team and saw the power of the people, I guess, in Ames, Iowa. It was powerful. And tonight, you envision what you hope going forward we continue to build on. And, I think all anybody's ever wanted was something that gave them hope. And, I really hope our team is starting to give this fan base hope that, we can get this done here for a long time. I think it's twofold. I think the first fold of it is, I thought David was David tonight. I thought he really got into a good rhythm early in the football game. And I think the second fold of it is you're seeing a maturing offensive line. You're seeing a group of guys that, and they weren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but moving people, finishing, tight ends that are making critical blocks downfield. Those are things that we haven't had in the first 2 years, and David hasn't had. So, I think it's really fun to watch that start to come together. And, maybe tonight was the first time that you saw that really come into a great flow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's team football. That's our only chance for success here. I've said that, and that'll be going forward. Is, our only chance to be really good is that we have to excel in all three phases, and we have to play in a situation that we're helping each other out, and we're understanding what allows us to win the game. And I know everybody kind of snickered at that early in the season, but that's the reality. And I think you look at it, we've done a great job of giving ourselves opportunities to win games. And how can we every week come up with a total team game plan to give ourselves chances to be successful? And that's our niche. That's what we have to do to be really good here. I think both are day to day. Ray kind of tried to go early this week, got dinged up a little bit last Saturday. I really think he will, I think he'll only continue to get better. I expect him to be ready to rock and roll, and Lawrence got dinged up in practice. So both guys, nothing long term, and I really would expect them both to be probable going into our next football game. I mean, I think that's as much of the story tonight defensively as, yes, Ray Lima is a phenomenal football player, but Jamal Johnson's turn to step up, and last week it was the running backs, and almost you look at the captains and it's like, holy smokes, it's almost been a jinx to be a captain a little bit because they've lived in some injuries, and those are great players and great people. My pride is that those players, when hurt, have been great teachers and leaders to the next guy, and then the next guys have all stood up and really risen to the occasion. So I think it's huge for us going forward. We're going to need it. We all know that. We're going to need it as we continue on, and just really proud of that group. Played really good football. Yes, it was huge. We thought maybe last week there was a point where he might be able to go and just couldn't. And so I think being able to give him that time that he needed, not rush him back. He wasn't ready to play last week, but I think you saw a healthy David Montgomery for sure this week. And not from my end. I trust him, and David's one of those guys you can have real conversation with, and I think when David's not healthy, we're not going to be naive and put him in a bad situation. I sure hope so. I think the reality of that from our end, it's just going to work and growing as an offense. You gotta think. I still think this offense in a lot of ways is in its infancy stages. We're growing. We're trying to find an identity of who we are and what weapons we have at our disposal. But I think we have a lot better idea now at this point, than maybe we did have early in the football season. So I think you'll only see us continue to evolve, which is exciting for that group. That, again, credit to our defensive staff, credit to the offensive staff. Joel Gordon's had to manage 3 quarterbacks. I think he's done a great job of it. He's had a lot of input on the success of the offense. Brian Gasser, Alex Golish, those guys are doing a lot of good things. And that's honest. We got a lot of work to do. Next week we'll practice as normal and really try to emphasize our process. I think what's gotten us back on our feet a little bit is our ability to really attack our detail. And even some good players have gotten better because how do you perfect your process? And I think that's going to be huge for the next 2 weeks for this team. Deshaunte's one of those guys that I think doesn't get enough credit for what he does for this offense and what he has given to this team. I think you look back even 2 years ago in his freshman year, he's been a big play guy since the day he stepped on our campus. And what I'm really proud of is he really went to work this year. And this offseason was really powerful for him. The play he makes in the end zone, big-time football play. And, we talked a lot about going into this game, there are going to be some one-on-one opportunities. What you do with those opportunities will define the game. And, those guys made some big-time plays, and certainly Deshaunte's was a huge one.